Lydia Day-Doff, I Connect TV, and I'm here at Saviours Crystal in Ballybeggin, Waterford, with head coach of the gym, Paul Simpson.
Hey Lydia, how are you? Good.
Good to be back, finally doing a bit of work for me and for you as well, I suppose.
Yeah, delighted to be back. It was a long time out of the ring, a lot of kids missing a bit of training, frustrating, hard. We'd understand, look, global pandemic out there, we had to do what needed to be done and protect everyone. But we're just delighted to be back and following the guidelines. Kids' parents are back because the kids are actually doing a bit of physical training. They're off the Xboxes, they're off all the social media. Parents are more than willing to get the kids back in the gym and get them to do a bit of physical exercise, So it's great.
I mean, we were talking before we started filming, and like for someone like yourself and for Saviours Crystal, it's such a part of the community. It has been for many years. So how difficult was it for you to have to close the doors and not really know when you'll get to reopen?
Very difficult because we have part of the community. A lot of lads are from the community. 90% of the kids, they live around here, they trained here, their fathers trained here, their brothers trained here, their mothers, So it's very frustrating. But we were open and then we had to close again. There was a new guideline put out and then we had to go back, and Sports Ireland and the boxing IABA had to draw up new plans to get pod systems back in training. So we have that back, so we're back open again Monday. So look, it's frustrating, but we're glad to be back, and hopefully we'll be back with competitions as well. That's what the talk is and the rumour is at the moment. So hopefully we can get back to a level where we're competing and have a goal for the guys that are training, which is the most important thing.
Well, let's talk about how long you've been, I suppose, in business or in operation. Like, how did this all start?
1995 it started. My father started the club with Miles Lavery and a few other lads in the community. I can't remember you all, but just want to thank them all for getting together and putting the club together, because without them the club wouldn't be here. And of course then my father was the main coach up to a few years ago. That's how it started. We've won a good few Irish titles over the years. So I won the first Irish title for the club, which was a big achievement for the club itself, being the son of the head coach. Then the club has kicked on from there. We've international boxers, we've lads that compete at every level now at the moment. We went through a quiet phase and we rebuilt and regrouped. We're starting to win Irish titles. We're in the mix at national level at all age groups, which is brilliant to see. And we've elite boxers in Keelan Cassidy, Sean Purcell. We've good seniors coming through, and Darragh Fitzgerald, Josh Phelan, Kieran Boylan. We're really building a good strong team here now at the moment, and good coaches working with us as well, which is very important.
Well, the reason I'm asking about it is, like, obviously from being from Waterford as well, I've always heard about Saviours. There's always been, like, whether it's the local papers or, the radio stations, there was always a buzz about, like, the lads winning titles or heading off. And it was such, like, an important part of, growing up and just knowing that there was something like that in your community. So we're seeing time and time again now where, boxing clubs are looking for funding and, it's trying to keep doors open. And, as a coach now who's been in this since 1995, what can, say, the government or what can communities do to ensure that we keep boxing gyms open?
Well, first I'd like to thank our community, because when we do go do a bit of fundraising, Ballybeggin and Waterford itself have been fantastic to us. Local businesses have been very, very supportive to us, and look, we can't thank them enough. The government, look, we get a bit of funding, we do, but there is a lot more can be done for us, and I suppose every sport to be the same. Look, a bit more funding with us, we could do a lot more, and that's being honest about it. We do need money to keep us going, and it's going to be hard now because with this social distancing, with the COVID-19, we don't know how we're going to do our normal bagpacks or skip-a-thons. Are we going to be left have a show in the club? How many people can we have in the show? Because our shows would generate a lot of money for us. So at the moment, we're thinking outside the boxes. We've a few ideas, so watch this space. Some big ideas coming of how we're going to fundraise and how we're going to run shows. So very exciting, and I don't want to say too much. We're in the process of working on these things. So we have some very good ideas, but again, once we get the go-ahead that we can box competitively, even at club level, then we will have shows and we will have people at these, and we will get everything up and running again.
Well, you may give me the exclusive when it happens, and I'll put up about it.
No, I definitely will, because I don't want to be saying too much. I don't want to give it away. A lot of work has gone behind the scenes on this, so we just had to think outside the box with fundraising and stuff like that. So it's a new idea. There's no one else doing it at the moment. So my brother Joey came up with the idea, so thanks Joey. So Yeah, it's looking very good, and it's going to be great for the club, I think.
But obviously, I mean, a successful club, you know, you've decades of experience behind you, but the proof is in, I suppose, the titles, the cups, you know, the accolades that the club has brought in. What do you attribute that to? Like, what is it? Is it just that this area has a really good stock of fighters? Is it the coaching? Is it everything together? What could you put your finger on?
It's a lot of things. The coaches would have a certain amount. Then it's the kids. Are the kids enjoying their training? If they're enjoying their training from a young age and getting the right coaching, and you're giving them the belief, once they have the belief, then they get the intelligence to believe that they have what they have. And an intelligent fighter and a self-belief fighter is a very hard kid to beat at any level. Yeah? So if you have a good coach that's able to work with a kid, give him the confidence, give him the feedback, yeah, that's what gives you good success. And success breeds success. Because if you have a little 11-year-old kid there watching Sean Purcell hitting the bags and imitating Sean Purcell and doing what Sean Purcell or Keelan Cassidy is doing in their 20s, and a kid of 11 or 12 is doing that, well, you're going to have a good kid by the time he comes 14, 15, 16. Yeah. So it's about having good lads and keeping them in the club. And it's a circle. The good boxer will bring on the next boxer. The good coach will develop the kid. Yeah, encourage that kid. It's like a flower. Yeah. Feed it, look after it, and you're going to have a nice flower, aren't you?
Absolutely. And, you know, it's because with boxing gyms in particular, you know, it's like the essence of what makes a successful fighter. It always comes back to that, you know, like you are what you surround yourself in, you know, and the young kids looking up to the older generation and being inspired by that. Is it hard for you then when a natural kind of cycle ends with a fighter, we'll say, where they get older, they decide maybe they don't want to fight anymore and they move on, whether they're having families or going into different areas? Is that hard as a coach?
It's very hard. Honestly, it's very hard. It is, because you invest a lot of time into the lads, and you become more than just a coach. You know, like you're putting your hand around these fellas' shoulders, win or lose. You know, they lose a fight, the crowd goes. You're the guy there with him. You know, you're there when he's having a bad day. You're there when he's injured, and you're trying to show him that he'll be grand for the competition. So it is very hard. But again, you have to look at what's coming in the door. You have to have the right guys in place, that you keep bringing in the kids. You know, boxing's a short career. It's like a footballer. Yeah. It's very short. It is hard, and it can be emotional sometimes when you know a good guy and they're retiring or they're marrying or they're moving away, and you know, you've put 2 days a week, 5 days a week into this kid, and you know, you've seen him go from a little shy kid and he's had to win your titles. You know, it is.
Why do it then?
Just love the sport. Yeah. Just, there's no better buzz than you bring in a little 11-year-old and he's falling over his feet. Some of them don't even know their left hand from the right hand. Spend a little bit of time with him, you encourage him, and next time you see him going through the levels and turning into a nice, mannerly young fella, confidence in himself, and he's getting to 15, 16, and he's boxing well, and he's starting to win titles, and he's turned into a young man then, and you see him, and again, nice kid, and boxing well, going off representing his country, you know, and you're sitting at home going, yeah, I trained that kid. You know. What's
some of your, I mean, obviously I don't want to like, you've got so many kids here and there's so many that have come through the doors, but are there some highlights? Are they, when you look back at your career, I suppose, are there ones that kind of stand out that little bit more?
Yeah, there will be a few. Keelan Cassidy will be a massive highlight for myself, really. He was here when he started boxing when he was 16. He was in the corner there, and no one knew if they wanted to do it. He didn't know whether he wanted to box or that. And then my brother said to me, listen, do a bit with Keelan there. He wants to box. So we started doing a bit with him, and he started developing and flourishing. And then I took a bit break from boxing, came back, went up to the under-21s, and he won my first Irish title coming back as a coach. And quite emotional on that day, given, you know, he won it the same day. It was a year to the day that the club was burnt down to us. Remember the time everything got destroyed on us? Yeah. So I was a bit nervous going up. Is this going to be our day? Is it not going to be our day? It's not exactly a lucky day for us as a club-wise, you know. And for us to go up and Keelan and then win the Irish title for us, and, you know, very emotional but very satisfactory for us, you know. Yeah. There was a lot of work put into it.
I imagine. Before I let you go, I know I'm going to get the guys on to do have a quick word with them, but if there was any parents out there that are watching this and they're, you know, they have either kids that are interested in starting or they'd like to get their kids into something, what's the first step that they need to take to getting their kids involved in the club?
Speak to the kid. You know, there's a lot of kids will come in, the parents will put them in, and look, Boxing isn't for everyone. I recommend boxing for kids. It's fantastic, but any sport outlet. But the first thing is talk to your kid. Yeah, ask him. You know, if he doesn't know what boxing is, let him watch a boxing fight with you. Talk to him, you know, because it's a tough sport, very tough, very physically demanding. You know, some kids will do more than others and achieve more than others. Talk to the kid. If the kid wants to do it, then go to your local boxing club. Talk to the coaches. Yeah, make sure it's the right club that's going to fit your kid. You know, is there enough kids in that club the same age as your kid that he's not just going to be there in an age group where he's on his own? There's a lot of things you have to look at, you know. And again, check the history of the club, you know, and talk to people and find out, is this the right club for my kid?
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, wow.
Delighted to get that. Was Paul Simpson here at Saviours Crystal in Ballybeg in Waterford. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Is there anything now before I let you go? Anything? I know we've the big exclusive of the little fundraising stuff coming up, but anything else to look forward to?
Yeah, we've a good bunch of senior lads. You're going to talk to film there now in a minute. So we're really, look, once we can get back boxing, I think we're going to be challenging now at all levels. We've some cracking kids, 11, 12-year-olds, and these guys are just phenomenal. Like, we're really in a good place this year with championships and that. We'd 9 good boxers in finals and semi-finals, you know. So, and then with the older lads. But look, that's it.
Well, I look forward to hearing all the news about everything. Paul Simpson for Fight Connect TV.
Thank you.
Brilliant.